Hi, and welcome to this special edition video just for the conscious movement community. And this is the culmination of the quarantine challenge practice. I wanted to create a video for you guys that would help to challenge you in your practice based on what you've already been doing and offer a level of difficulty and depth in the practice to where you'd be more at based on practicing with me on here for a while already. So, for today's practice, I'm going to recommend that you have a couple of blocks. You might also want a strap and a fluffy dog at the back of your mat to keep you company. Let's begin in child's pose. With your toes curled under, modify child's to open up the soles of the feet. Walk your hands forward, and as you release back through the creases of your hips, start to elongate through your trunk towards your hands, so it's extended child's. There's another variation where the knees are together and we round out, which we're going to do right after this. So in this extended child's, elongate through the sides of your body. Instead of the sides of the body shortening, lengthen through the side ribs towards the hands. Deepen your hip creases. You can even let your forehead rest on a block so that your head stays up more in the line of your spine. Now move your breath all the way down towards your navel. When we're stressed out or we're sitting with poor posture for long periods of time, our shoulders tend to slouch and the breath gets stuck up in the top. And then as a result of that, we don't breathe deep breaths and it makes the posture even worse. So as you let your shoulders and your chest start to open and relax, breathe all the way down towards your navel. Then come up onto your hands and knees. Press down into your hands. And as you inhale, start to tip the sit bones up, wheel your chest forward. Exhale, tuck through the pelvis, then round through your spine one vertebra at a time. Head and neck last thing. Start from the pelvis again. Tip the sit bones, then one vertebra at a time, roll up through the spine. Head and neck last thing. Now we're going to do it in reverse, moving from the head and the neck first, round. And then head and neck into extension first. That was a little trickier. And then come into neutral. No part sinking, no part rounding. Press down into the four corners of your hands and lift your knees up an inch. So make sure that you don't lock your wrists or your elbows. Press into the hands. Feel your arm muscles strong. Inner arms tall, collarbones broad, blades broad on the back. Then stretch your hips straight up as you push down into your hands. Pull up, lift up onto the tips of your toes. Set your knees down. Point your toes back and come into balasana. Let the back round, let the back open up. Let the shoulders internally rotate and breathe in between your shoulder blades. Breathe into the skin in your low back. Then come back up, hands and knees. Curl your toes and stretch back into down dog. Hold in your down dog. So I'm showing downward dog with straight legs, but I want the primary focus to be that elongation of the spine. So notice how I'm not crunching my head down, but I'm letting my neck muscles lengthen. I'm lengthening through the lower back. I'm reaching the hips out away from the wrists at an angle. And if that's difficult, you might need to bend the knees, especially if your butt's tucked under like that with the straight legs. Bend the knees and let the pelvis lengthen away from the wrist as you push into your hands. Inhale into a plank pose. Exhale into down dog. Inhale into plank pose. Exhale into down dog. Inhale into plank pose. Stretch into dog. Last one, inhale into plank. This time, exhale, lower slowly into chaturanga. Press back up. Downward facing dog. Walk your feet to the front of your mat. With your feet hip socket distance apart, put a little bend in your knees to let your head drop. You can bend your knees now as significantly as you need to, so you can feel your lower back open. The muscles open up, the hamstrings release. Feel the backs of the legs stretching evenly. Then keep that much bend in your knees. As you inhale, slide your hands up your shins. Stretch from your navel up to your heart, spread across your collarbones, and engage your lats so that your blades plug onto your back. So you're pushing into your shins and dragging your chest forward. Then, as you exhale, fold forward again. One more time. Inhale, slide your hands up your shins. Push into the shins, feel the lats engage, the blades glide down. Exhale, fold forward. Then inhale, come up onto the fingertips, step your left leg back into a lunge. Drive into your right heel, hug your right hip into the midline. Lift from your belly and stretch your arms back behind you. So if you found it helpful to use the strap on that one day, I can't remember which day it is, all the days are becoming one day now, you can press out into the strap to help to turn on your external rotators. Ooh, I like this one. This is a good variation. Then mindfully, lower your left fingertips down without rounding and twist, take your arm up. Bring your hand down, lower your back knee down. Let your hips melt forward as you peel yourself up off your thigh, stretch the skin of your belly up, release the buttock flesh down, and raise your arm up. Keeping the stretch, deepening the psoas through your left knee and through your left fingertips. Now raise your right arm up as well. As you inhale, lift up your heart. And as you exhale, bend the elbows into cactus, turn on the backs of the armpits and shoulders. Stretch your arms back up. Bring your hands down. Curl your back toes under. Lift your back knee up. Step your back leg forward and fold. Bent knees, inhale, slide the hands up the shins, press, engage the lats. Exhale, fold forward. Again, inhale, slide the hands up. Press, engage the lats, reach your heart. Exhale, fold. Inhale, fingertips, lengthen. Step your right leg back into the lunge. Stretch your arms back at your side or take the hands into the strap behind your back. Press out. Feel the left hip crease deepen. Like imagine I had an extra strap right here across the crease of your hip, pulling it straight back to your back ankle. Press into the front of your left heel, open through the toes, spread the sole of the foot. But remember now not to jam the sacrum, flow the sacrum, the legs through the sacrum. Flow from the base of the neck out through the fingers, mindful of the rib cage and the heart opening. Now slowly lower your right fingertips down and twist, take your left arm up. Bring your fingertips down. Lower your knee down. Then hands to your left knee. Start to peel yourself up. Buttock flesh releases down. Scoop the skin of the front of the pelvis. Raise your right arm. Okay, now today I want to add a new focus. Left arm forward and up. Open up through the pelvic floor, the very bottom of the pelvis. And once you've opened that up, draw energy right up through the core of the spine, up through the crown of the head. Open the crown of the head. Release the tension up here at the base of the back of the skull, right where the head balances up on top of the spine. You have it tense there. Crown open, pelvic floor open. Energy can move up. Then exhale, bend the elbows out to the side. Press the hands back like they're up against the wall. Stretch your arms back up. Bring the fingertips back down. Curl your back toes, lift your back knee. Step your back leg forward. Fold forward, let your head drop. Reach down through your feet and inhale, come all the way up, raise your arms. Open the pelvic floor and balance the crown right up over top. Let there be a dialogue between the pelvic floor and the crown, energy flowing up and down in between even. Bring your arms back down at your side. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into a flat back. Step back into plank. Lower slowly onto your belly. Inhale into cobra pose, point the toes back, roll your chest forward. And as you open up the skin on the hands, roll the front of the shoulders open. Lower your chest back down. Press up into plank pose. And stretch back into down dog. Look in between your hands. Step or float up to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, Samastiti. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Step back and lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Look in between your hands. Step or float up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, Samastiti. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back and lower into Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Now in down dog, press down in between the space between your big toe mound and second toe mound. Hug your ribs in, keep your left leg strong as you stretch your right leg up. Inhale, shift forward into plank pose. Exhale, pull your knee up to your chest, round your back. Inhale, reach the leg back into plank. Exhale, pull back up. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, pull up. Step your foot up by your thumb. Set up your back heel for warrior one. Draw that right hip crease back again like you had the strap on it to pull it straight back towards your back heel. Now on your fingertips, reach the crown through the midline like I drew a line down the middle of your mat, and your tail back through it as well. Then lift from your belly and upright your pelvis, raise your arms. Instead of tensing up your neck, free up the neck through the reach of your arms. Open that space at the base of the back of the skull, and from your pelvic floor through your crown, open up. Bring your hands back down. Step back into plank pose. Lower slowly into chaturanga. Press straight back up. Downward facing dog. Reach into the space between your big toe mound and second toe mound and keep your right leg strong as you raise your left leg. Ribs stay in, push into your hands evenly. Shift forward into plank pose, pull your knee up. Inhale, reach back into plank. Exhale, pull up. Inhale into the plank. Exhale, pull up. Step your foot lightly up by your thumb. Set up your back heel. Pull that left hip crease back as you reach through the tail back, crown straight out through the line down the middle of your mat. Seal your back foot down, then lift your belly, upright your pelvis to come up. Instead of hinging from your lower back, feel the pelvis bringing you upright, then raise your arms without straining your neck. Breathe through your nose. And in yoga, we want to practice only nose breathing. Bring your hands back down. Step back into plank pose. Hold in plank or lower into chaturanga. And lift straight back up. Downward dog, stretch back. Look in between your hands, step or float up to the front. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sit your hips back like you're sitting into a chair. Drop the sit bones evenly into the imaginary chair, and then lift up from the front hip bones to bring yourself upright. Take your arms forward. Descend your heel bones, stretch your toes. Now send the energy from your middle spine up through your heart, up through your crown, stretch your arms. And now include the pelvic floor in the next inhalation, from the pelvic floor all the way up. And stand, mountain pose. Inhale into chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back and lower into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Same exhalation, step your right foot, and as you inhale, come up into warrior one. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, down dog. Reconnect to your breath. As you press into the hands, Draw your hips up and back. Thighs release back. Look forward, step or float up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Stand, Samasthiti. Inhale into chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step or float back into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot. Warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Reconnect to your breath. Look in between your hands. Step or float up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Then bring hands to prayer. Twist to your right. Hook your left elbow to your knee. Draw from your belly up to your chest as you open your collarbones. Now glance down and make sure that you have the midline again. The tail straight back, the crown straight ahead. Then compact your outer hips, lift your belly and take your arms back up, chair. Twist to your left. Make sure your right shin isn't sinking forward. Tail straight back, crown forward. Compact your hips and come back to chair. Stand, release your arms to your side. Then step your right foot back about 4 feet. Spread your arms out. Angle your left leg inward slightly. Turn your right leg out. Bend your right knee for warrior two. Let your hips turn to the right slightly so that your knee can track in alignment with your second, third toe. Feel the crown balance right over top of your pelvic floor. And let the breath move up and down in between your spine, or feel that the energy can flow. Don't let the ribs harden forward. Allow the ribs to plug back into their position, the core of the heart open, sacrum open, base of the neck broad. Then go forearm to thigh or hand onto the outside of your foot. Inhale to come back up. Change sides. Right foot angled in a little bit. Bend your left leg. Make sure you're not lean forward over your left leg. Stack right up over top. Open your lower back. Open the back ribs. Then tip from your hips out over your leg. Go forearm to thigh or hand on the outside of your foot. Right arm over. So now the new midline is your back ankle. Feel that from your back ankle now you can integrate the pelvic floor and the crown all through that line of your back ankle. Inhale, come back up. Step your back leg forward. Mountain pose. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back into down dog or take a vinyasa, your call. From down dog, step your right foot for warrior two. Inhale, come up. Then straighten your right leg, but turn your right thigh out, again so the knee is tracking. And maintain that as you tip from your pelvis out over your leg to place your hand down on the shin or on the block, wherever you like. Take your left arm up. Now if you feel something that gets jammed in your lower back or in one of your joints, and you need to get a little more opening, you can always bend the legs to renegotiate how the femur bones are plugging into the socket, and then re-extend once you feel you have the opening in your spine again. Again, we want to feel that dialogue from pelvic floor to crown, and we don't want it to get disrupted anywhere in the form of locking up or jamming. Then left hand to hip, bend your right knee, put your right hand a foot in front of your foot in line with your pinky toe. Now as you slide your back leg forward, track your right hip. Keep your right hip tracking, ankle, knee, hip, and float the back leg up. Push into your right foot even as you lift the back leg. Now grow from the back hip out of the lower back into your back ankle. Turn your ribs and take your arm up. Bend your right knee, slide back into triangle pose. Bring your left hand down to the mat, spin your back heel up, bend your right knee. Then plant your left hand flat, heel the hand right underneath the shoulder, spin from your left side lower belly up to your right shoulder, twist, and as you lift up on the front of the left shoulder, turn onto the outside edge of your back foot. Outside edge to the right, you can hang out here, getting this little hip opener, half side plank, or you can step your right leg back and bust out the full side plank. Hold there, or the most challenging, you could slide your right knee up, take the big toe, and lift it up. Then slowly with control, come back into plank. Take a vinyasa or stretch right back into down dog. Step your left foot, warrior two. Inhale, come up. Straighten your left leg. Turn your hips to the left so you can turn the left thigh out. That'll prevent the hip from getting jammed as you go out over the leg. Tip from your pelvis out over your leg and go hand onto block or shin or floor, your call. Right arm up. Now as you work to open up your chest and press the blades in, make sure that your rib cage doesn't harden forward to do that. So now you can feel we've worked the balance of energy centers, first sacrum, throat area, then lower rib cage, upper abdomen, heart, now pelvic floor and crown. So making the whole dialogue through the whole spine. Then hand to hip, bend your knee, slide your hand a foot in front of your foot. And keeping the left leg tracking, slide that back leg and float it up. Reach your right hip out of your lower back, reach it through your right ankle, grow that back leg. Let your chest open up through the reach of your arms. Then bend your left knee and slide back into Trikonasana. Bring your right hand down, spin your back heel up, bend your left knee. Plant the right hand flat and twist. Take your left arm up. Then turn onto the outside edge of your back foot, hold here, or step your left leg back, side plank, Vashisthasana. Hold there, or reach down and take your big toe up. Slowly with control, come back into plank pose. Take a vinyasa or stretch right back into down dog. Then step your feet forward to the front, feet outer hips distance apart. Turn your big toes out a little, and as you inhale, stretch your chest forward. Now feel the hips and the sides of the chest reach away from each other so that you're as long as you could be. And then slowly, keeping the heel bones descending, without the center heels twisting, start to lower the buttock down. Now there's going to be a point where you're going to try to collapse to the ankles to go deeper, or let the spine shrink somewhere. Don't let it happen, even if you can't get the butt all the way down. So notice how I'm going slow enough to give my body the time instead of collapsing into the joints. Space through the joints, muscles long and strong. It took a little while. I've got to do some hip openers, I think. Lift up from your belly. I'm going to revisit yesterday's video. Okay, then let's practice going into Bakasana from here. So bring the feet together. Now the heels come up a little. So the heels are together, so there's a little angle outward on the feet so that your knees can bend out to the side. Then, same trip, navel in, except this time you're going to round your spine. Let it round out. Then hook your arms back and practice leaning into Bakasana. So I keep my buttock low. I keep the round through the lower back, the spread through the blades as I pull my feet up. Then set your feet down or hop back for a vinyasa. Let's meet back in down dog. Step your right foot for warrior one. Inhale your arms out. Then bring your hands behind your back as you straighten your right leg. Go knuckles together or take reverse prayer. Back foot can come a little closer if needed. Roll your heart open, inhale. Exhale, fold forward out over your leg. Pause halfway. And then lengthen all the way. Then interlock your hands and reach your knuckles up and overhead. Or if you got the tight shoulders, take the hands in the strap. Press down through your feet. Inhale, come back up to stand. Raise your left arm up, right hand on your hip. Grow the spine line from your back ankle, deepen the psoas to the reach of the hand and the ankle. Then take all that length, put your hand down and twist. Take your right arm up. Now, if I try to go too low for my body, I'll lose the connection between the pelvic floor and the crown. Can't get it. So get enough height underneath your hand so you can find that you have the flat back, like there's a stick up your back. It's the rotisserie chicken idea, remember? Now keep your chest turned, look down, slide that hand a foot in front of your foot, and raise your back leg up. Drive through your back heel like it's against the wall. Spin your back ribs down to your left hand and spin from your belly up to your right shoulder. Bring your right hand down. Soften your navel as you fold forward, standing splits. Lower your left leg to meet your right. Hook your big toes and inhale, stretch your chest forward. Exhale, fold forward. Then bring your left hand to your hip. Come up to stand holding your right big toe. You can bend the knees as much as you need to, which could look like this, or you can even just hold your knee instead, if it's too much to try to hold the big toe. Then change hands and twist, open up to your right. Find the dialogue between the pelvic floor and the crown again. And if this is really difficult, but you'd like to learn it one day, you can just start by putting your foot up on like a desk and then stacking up more height underneath the foot, a block, whatever. Turn your chest forward, raise your arms up. Bring hands to prayer and tip into warrior three. Arms back. Back at the navel open, left hip strong. Bend your left knee. Step into warrior one. Raise your arms up. Then bring your hands behind your back as you straighten your left leg. Back foot comes a little closer. Open up your chest. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward out over your leg. Pause halfway to find flat back. And then go all the way. Hands in the upper back to remind that part of the spine not to hunch up. Keep lengthening through there. Stretch your hips up and back off your left ankle as you push into your left foot. Then interlock the hands and reach the knuckles up and over, or use the strap. Press into your feet. Inhale, come up. Left hand on your hip, raise your right arm. Reach and twist, twisted triangle. Yeah, and especially because of the current quarantine situation, unless you've really upped your yoga practice, I would go a little more a little more height from all the sitting. Then look down, slide your hand a foot in front of your foot, and raise your back leg. Imagine your back leg an extension of your tailbone. So grow the spine through the back heel, reach straight ahead, find the pelvic floor crown line, right out through the midline, spin your ribs. Then bring your hand down, standing splits, raise your back leg. Lower your right leg to meet your left. Hook your big toes and inhale, find the flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Then bring your hand to your hip. Come up to stand holding your big toe. Remember, you can go knees bent as much as you need to. Find the elongation of your spine again. Crown open, back of the skull open. Then change hands and twist open to your left. Look forward, arms up, tip into warrior three. Stretch the arms back. Hips level, waist level. Bend your knee, step into Vira one. Bring hands to prayer, back heel up, twist, hook your left elbow to your right knee. If it's getting too gnarly, you can always set your back knee down. 3 more breaths. Hands back down, step back. Vinyasa, or stretch back into down dog. If you're doing this video, you're like, what is vinyasa? That just means do the chaturanga up dog and then go back to down dog. That would have been helpful at the beginning. Step your left foot for warrior one. Inhale, come up. Bring hands to prayer. Back heel up. Lean out over your knee and twist. Bring your hands back down to the mat. Step back, vinyasa, or back into down dog. Look in between your hands, hop to seated. Sit in Dandasana. Lift your heart, shoulders open without closing your low back. Then lean your torso back until you hit your tailbone. Balance in between your tailbone and your sit bones. Then draw your low abs up and slide your knees towards you from your low abs. And from the low abs, pull the legs up. Then from the support of your abdomen, keeping the abs strong, take your arms forward. Then lower down into Ardha Navasana. Come back up into boat. Cross your legs at the shins. Hands next to your hips. Push down and lift your hips up first. Then scoop your belly back and lift your feet if possible. Lower your butt down. Come into boat pose. Lower into low boat pose. Come back up. Cross the legs the other way. Hands down. Lift your butt. Engage your core. And lift your feet too. Lower your butt. Navasana. Holy smokes, my abs are on fire. Lower into Ardha Navasana. Bring your legs up. Lower your head down, hands behind your head. Then as you exhale, crunch up towards your knees and tuck your tail up and hold. Lower your hips in your head, inhale. Start with the pelvis this time. Tuck the pubic bone to your chest, push up and crunch up. Release, hug your knees in, roll up to seated, and make your way back into down dog. Inhale, plank pose. Come into forearm plank. Roll into the outside edges of your feet and take your right arm up. Change sides, right elbow down, left arm up. Left elbow down. Hold there. Tuck your abs in, hug your side ribs in. Then slowly lower your hips down. Inhale into Sphinx pose. Then lift your hips back up. And take your block in between your hands. If you have super wily elbows, then you can strap your elbows so that they don't swing out to the side, like so that your elbows stay true right underneath your shoulders, especially if your mat isn't very sticky, that'll help out. Then we're gonna frame the hands along the block. So make sure that the center elbow is lined up with the center of your shoulder. You can go a little wider for tight shoulders. And with your thumbs pointing up, press your forearms down. Curl your toes, engage your core, and lift your knees up. Then keeping your left leg tall as you press down through your left big toe mound, abs in, ribs in, grow your right leg up. Now for those of you who are practicing forearm balance, Pinchamayurasana, you can take this block to the wall and practice kicking up and over. Otherwise, we're just going to hold. Press your forearms down so that you're not sinking into your shoulders. Lift. Slowly lower that leg. Change legs. You're almost done. Press down through your right big toe mound. Lift that left leg. Ribs in. Press the forearms. Press the wrists. Don't let your shoulders sink over your elbows. Lower that leg down. Set your knees down. Stretch into child's pose. All right, then come to lie onto your back. Bring your heels close to your buttock, feet hip distance apart. Take your forefingers under your mat, your thumbs up on top. Now as you press into your feet, start to roll your pelvis up off the mat. And then as you pull out with the arms, feel your outer shoulders spin down to the floor. So instead of the shoulders kind of like hanging out in this position, we're going to activate the muscles in the back, descend, but make sure that you don't harden your lower back or your back ribs to do it. And then as you engage your glutes and the backs of the legs, grow the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Keep your neck free, jaw relaxed. Consider the energy from the pelvic floor to the crown. You're not blocking anywhere in your spine to do this action. Then lower yourself back down. You can repeat that one or go hands interlocked or do Chatushpadasana like we practiced the other day, or position your hands for the shoulder stretch for Urdhva so that the thumbs point towards the shoulders, the fingers fan out to the side a little. Turn the elbows in towards each other. Hug the base of the armpit in as you reach your elbows back. Then lift your hips up. Take a breath there. Turn the elbows in. Hug the base of the armpit. Reach the elbows back. Open the skin on the hand. Lower yourself back down. Arms to your side. Last one, repeat any phase, bridge, chatush, hands interlocked, or the hand preparation. Or this time you could press all the way up. Or you can stay with me in the preliminary. Turn elbows, hug armpit, reach elbows, open hands, lift up. And as long as you have no history of cervical compression, neck issues, you could practice going up onto the crown of your head. Reposition the hands, turn elbows in, hug armpit. And lower back down. So again, if you had some neck issues, that one's not for you. You either got to just push straight up or just practice the preliminary. Open your arms out to the side, cross your right knee over your left, shift hips over to the right, and let your legs fall over to the left. Breathe through your nose. Knees and hips back to center. Change the cross of your legs, left knee over your right, hips over to the left a little, let your knees fall over. Bring knees, hips back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. Take happy baby, reach on the insides of the knees, grab a hold of the big toes or the outsides of the feet. Then hug your knees to your chest, roll up to seated. Now for our hip opener today, you can stick with a simple cross-leg forward fold, real easy, head down onto a block or whatever. You could do a single leg pigeon. I know some of you guys are into the single leg pigeon. Or if your hips are more open, you can also do double leg pigeon from this position, which just looks like stacking the shins like so. I think I'm going to just stick with the simple cross legs. That's a good one today. Feels nice on the, release this. That's nice. Oh, my sweet potatoes are ready. Come back up, change the cross of your legs, and fold forward. Come back up, then lie down onto your back. Shavasana, corpse pose. Set yourself up so you could fully relax. So your feet just slightly wider than hip distance, hands at least a foot away from your body. Let your body drop into the mat. Let go. Now bringing your concentration to the breath. Practice watching your breath move in and out through your nose without trying to control it. Notice the areas in your body that still feel like they're gripping or fighting. See if you can soften and release through there. Allow the breath to move through these stuck spots as well. Don't force, stay relaxed. Then gently bend your knees, roll over to your side, and press up to seated. Bring your palms together. Thank you. Namaste. So I just wanted to say thank you for doing this challenge with me. And also, I really appreciate that you've become a member of this community. And I hope that you're finding the specific videos that you get to be beneficial. And if you have any suggestions for what you'd like to see in the future, drop them below, because just like I mentioned at the end of the quarantine challenge, I get some of my best ideas from you guys. So I'm working on a pranayama series, and also if there's any other things that you'd like to see here, just let me know. Have a great day, and hope to see you again soon.